Yo. What up, though? This is your boy, Chris B. Daniels, and you are once again on Show and Talk. All right, y'all. So tonight, we're going to talk about the third installment of the last two movies we were discussing in the House Party series. And that movie, of course, is House Party 3. So this time, this movie is a little more comedic than the second movie, right? So in this movie, KidNPlay are actually record promoters, really. You know, they trying to start their own label and trying to sign artists and everything. So that's what the movie really revolves around. That's like one of the storylines. And then the other storyline is Kid getting married in this one. So in this movie right here, Kid does not marry Sydney, surprisingly, as close as they were in the first and second movie. And he decides, he met a new woman in this movie. So that woman, fun fact, was also the same chick that played Felicia in Friday. You know what I'm saying? The crackhead chick. And that lady, she plays a character named Vida, which is played by Angela Means. So, she's very elegant in this movie, very sexy. You know what I'm saying? Compared to how they made her look in Friday, they did a good job making her look like a head in Friday. You know what I mean? But I don't think she was a head. I think she was just like begging and shit. But they just did a good job making her look dirty. But this movie actually came out first, so this movie has a lot of cameos too. You got Immature, you got Chris Tucker, which he made one of his I'm not sure. I think this was his debut film. This is like one of the first movies that a lot of you probably seen him in, if you went back that far from back in the day. But it had Chris Tucker, Immature, TLC made an appearance, Bernie Mac. Man, it was just so many people, yo. So basically, like I was saying before, this movie revolves around KidNPlay. The main storyline revolves around those two. This time, trying to sign different artists to this guy. What's his name? Man, what was his name? He was kind of like, he was a boss. You know what I mean? Showboat. That was his name. I'm sorry, Showboat. So they trying to basically sell artists to him. So they found this group called Sex is a Weapon, which was played by TLC. At first they, agreed to have a meeting with KidNPlay. And at the same time, you had this one dude who plays cousin Stinky, right? So this dude was more like he was kind of like a tag along. So he was also in the Fat Women and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like it was one scene in the movie where Kid was having his bachelor party, and I guess they went to the wrong spot, or the dude he invited a lot of like females and shit, and it turned out every single female in the place was fat. You know what I'm saying? That was just his thing. But so they agreed to sit down with Sex as a Weapon, once again played by TLC. And so Kid showed them the basically like the list, the tour list or whatever, all the places they were gonna be touring, and they wasn't feeling it. You know what I mean? So they decided to turn them down. So basically what happened was, once again, Play got them into some shit. So they took the money from Showboat, agreeing to bring on Sex as a Weapon. So when they turned down the tour or whatever, right? That was it. They was just trying to figure out a way, to get them on. So they decided to sign with this dude named Cold Blood, which you really never see in the movie at all. He's just mentioned, because the itinerary that they got was trash from them. So after that, they spend a lot of the movie running from Showboat. So this movie is pretty funny. Like there's a scene where he held them both down and made Play eat some toe jam crackers and shit, which I never had toe jam. I don't even know what the shit tastes like. And I don't want to know what it tastes like because that shit sounds disgusting. But yeah, this shit is pretty funny. So you got a scene too with Immature where they first get off the plane and they supposedly lost their luggage, but they really didn't lose it. It was just a hustle, to get some money for their vacation or whatever. You know what I mean? Which was smart as fuck. You know what I mean? For some little kids. But yeah, they was young. Like they was real young. I think Marquise Houston might have been like 13, something like that, 12, 13 when this movie came out. Young dudes, man. But Bernie Mac, so he makes his appearance in the movie. He plays Kid's uncle, right? Which is on his dad's side. So there's also a funny ass scene with him where they go to Kid's girlfriend's parents' house to have dinner. So so while they sitting around the table eating and whatnot, Bernie Mac is running his mouth about some shit, right? And then he finally recognizes the chick. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, and Vida's dad is played by what's his name, Renato Ray, funny ass dude. And yeah, I swear he be killing that word. God damn it! You know what I'm saying? Get out of my goddamn house. Oh, this shit is funny, yo, because it's like when Bernie Mac finally realizes who his wife is, he sits there. You know what I'm saying? They called her like what was it, lockjaw? And then she got pissed off about it. He got pissed off about it, and it was a big bunch of mess. So they wound up getting thrown out the house. And then, I guess Kid's grandmother, she has Alzheimer's. So what was his grandmother or his aunt? Oh, Aunt Lucy. Okay, Aunt Lucy. So Aunt Lucy has Alzheimer's and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the way they portrayed her, like the way she was acting. It seemed like she had Alzheimer's because it was a scene where they had rented like two different videotapes, right? One of them was supposed to be the Ninja Turtle movie, the original movie from 1990, and then the other one was a porn. So when they took, I guess the tapes got swapped somehow, so they made a mistake by grabbing the wrong one. They took the Ninja Turtles tape to the place they went to where all the fat chicks were, and then Kid's Aunt Lucy had the porn tape watching the shit. You know what I mean? Like, yo, that shit was crazy, man. It was pretty graphic too. But yeah, like they spend the movie running from Showboat, and yeah, he had these Showboat had these female bodyguard chicks, right? Like these bitches were no joke, boy. One of them broke a pool ball. Yeah, that shit was crazy. Like that scene was pretty ill. I ain't even gonna lie. She just took that motherfucker and just you know what I'm saying, turned the shit to dust. I was like, yo, don't be fucking with these people, man. Like, yo, do not fuck with their money, man. Like that shit's crazy. But the side story, a kid's supposed to be getting married or whatever. Um, there's a lot of temptation for him too. Like a lot of temptation. You know what I'm saying? Like one chick walks up to him and you know what I'm saying, she starts talking to him or whatever, like, flirting with him. Badass female too. I forgot what her name was, but yo, she was bad. Um, so Kid wasn't married yet, but I take my hat off to him because he turned it down. You know what I mean? Whatever, whatever. So later on they come across these blind niggas, right? Like these three blind dudes. I guess it was supposed to be musicians or whatever. And KidNPlay tried to hustle them by giving them $1 and shit, for what they owed them. You know what I'm saying? For they pay. And then they already knew that was some bullshit. So I think he took out a 5 or something like that. Might have gave it to him. Or no, I forgot how that shit went. And then I think they gave him another dollar. No, they gave him another dollar, I think. And they thought they had some big money and whatnot. So like I guess they supposed to have cataracts or something. So a lot of these jokes in this movie too, by the way, were not fly today. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Like honestly, I'm still with it. Like they didn't age well as far as the generation nowadays, but shit, I'm fine with the jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like making fun of people with cataract and shit like that. I mean, making fun of people with cataracts for real is, you know what I'm saying, wrong. But as far as like just turning it into a joke for a movie or a stand up or something like that, I feel like it's okay in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because one thing that I have to say is the fact that usually people who have the same type of conditions that people make fun of are usually the people who are laughing at it. It's the ones that's not suffering from the conditions that get offended by it. And that type of shit right there pisses me off because it's like, yo, how come these people can laugh at it, but you can't? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not suffering from it. You know what I mean? As long as you're not making fun of the person directly. If you just making jokes, that's fine. In my opinion, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. But yeah. So they get into their car and they leave, you know what I mean? And then Kid Play was like, I refuse to go anywhere till them brothers is off the streets. You know what I'm saying? Because it's three blind dudes driving around and shit. So, and yeah, that shit is crazy in itself. But surprisingly, Sydney, Tisha Campbell makes an appearance in this movie. And this was 2 years after Martin premiered. You know what I mean? So what happened with that was Kid spotted her at the place he was at, you know, with all the fat chicks and all that. He goes out in the hallway, he sees her. So they're talking, and then right before they, say goodbye to each other, she gives him a kiss, I believe, on the cheek. And that's when Kid's girl spots them. And she gets pissed off because she assumed that Kid was over here, trying to start a thing with Sydney again. But that wasn't the case. So they get into a little spat. Kid goes his way. Vida goes her way. And they're, Kid and Play are in the bathroom, talking. And this is when Play shows his human side a little bit. You know what I mean? Telling Kid, you gotta chill out and everything. And then Kid was like, no. Play actually, I believe like he took care of the wedding and everything. Like a lot of the money came from him because of the money they got from Showboat and shit. So they was using that money to finance this stuff. So Play was like, yo, if you don't marry Vida, then I will. And Kid was like, man, she ain't gonna marry you. He walked out, he like, shit. So Kid follows behind him, follows him out the bathroom. And then her cousin was talking to her, about Kid. So she basically told she basically told Vida like, he's feeling you. Like basically she finally agreed to their marriage and she just told him, all right, look, go get your man. Like there's no need to trip about something that wasn't real. Like what you saw wasn't what you saw. So that's when she finally came around to their relationship. And there's a lot to talk about with this movie. I'm not going to get into everything, but now there was a scene where, Immature was performing in that hotel or whatever, the same place that KidNPlay was when they were talking to Sex as a Weapon. You know what I mean? They was hustling. That was like one of their little hustles too, but I think there was supposed to be a singing group in the movie as well. So, they did their little thing, made a couple of dollars and shit until KidNPlay pushed them out the room. So they go back to their aunt house. Well, Kid's aunt house or whatever. And this is like, near the beginning towards the middle or whatever. Because I'm not speaking about the movie in order. I'm just talking about different shit. Maybe y'all would be interested in this because I know a lot of people who hasn't seen House Party 3, believe it or not. They seen the first two, but the third one, nah. So Full Force does not make an appearance in this movie at all. They were just in the first and second movie. And I got to be honest with y'all. While I think House Party 2 is the best out of the three and the most serious in my opinion, House Party 3, and it's probably not going to make sense to y'all. It's going to sound like I'm contradicting myself, but House Party 3 is probably the funniest one. Not the best one in my opinion, but the funniest one. You know what I mean? So, like I said, if you haven't saw House Party 3, give it a watch, give it a gander. You might like it. And if I got to give it a score out of 1 to 10, I'll give that movie uh, probably a 7 because it didn't have Bilal in it, Martin Lawrence. You know what I'm saying? That's one character that I thought it should have been in the movie, but I don't think he wanted to do the film. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he wanted to do that movie at that third movie because I don't even think Kid and Play wanted to do that movie. To be honest with you, but the deal was in order to do Class Act, they had to do House Party 2 first because Class Act was their movie, was the movie that they wrote. You know what I mean? So yeah, again, I had House Party 3 on DVD years ago. Like, I don't even know what happened to my movies. Speaking of that, because that was one of the movies that got lost in the shuffle. Like, that's one of the things that's shrouded in mystery. Have y'all ever noticed, like, you have stuff when you grow up, by the time you get older or whatever, you just don't remember what happened to your stuff? Like, that shit is crazy. Like, I done had a lot of shit like that. Like, DVDs, old school video games and stuff like that. So, it's like all that shit just disappeared in the thin air. Like, I don't really remember what happened to it. Shit's crazy, man. But yeah, House Party 3 is probably the funniest one, especially the scenes with Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac, yo, he dominated in that film. His performance was great. And once again, rest in peace to the brother. Because when he did this movie, he also did Above the Rim the same year, 1994. So I'm impressed by that shit. Like, I'm impressed by actors and actresses who can do 3 or 4 movies a year. Like Jim Carrey, for an example. And I know I'm going on a tangent, but 1994, Jim Carrey did Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber. So he was like one of the most bankable stars back then. But yeah, Bernie Mac is a he's a comedic genius. Like, I love this dude's jokes and shit, right? Especially when he was talking to his brother, you know, looking up, basically talking to him like, you know, still owe me some money. Like, his brother owed him some money apparently, you know, kids pops. And he also said that boy needs some goddamn sunlight. Yeah, that scene right there was funny. Cause it's like when you see Bernie Mac on screen, when he's making jokes, he's got like a straight face too. That shit is funny as hell, man, when he does that. But but yeah, man, this movie is the funniest one. And I'm glad I own it again. Where the other ones, House Party 2, and House Party 4 down to the last minute. The one with INX, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Yo, that shit, I ain't seen that one yet. I still gotta watch it. And I still gotta watch the new one too. But I hope IMX did a good job in that one. But nah, I heard House Party 5, what was it, the 5th one, 6th one? Because they got another one called Tonight's the Night, right? Because I ain't even heard of that one until, you know, recently. But yeah, I got to go see that one in theaters. I might just wait till it comes out on Blu-ray or DVD or something because a lot of people said the movie was garbage, and I don't know if it's worth the money because the theater I go to was in Wake Forest, and that shit is like $16 a ticket. So I don't want to waste, you know, that $15, $16, bruh, to be honest with you. But yeah, House Party 3 is a good watch. And sometimes I kind of sit back and be like, yo, I wonder what it was like seeing these movies in theaters. You know, because the theater experience was a lot different back then, I'm sure. I've seen movies back then. I remember the first time I went to the movies was probably back in 1992. And the first movie I remember going to see was Batman Returns. But I don't think I ever seen any of the House Party movies in theaters. I was too young. I definitely didn't see 3 in theaters because around that time I was like 7 years old when it came out, so I would remember that. But yeah, House Party 3, like I said, it's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, you gotta check it out. You might like it better than the other two, which, like I said, in my personal opinion, the second one is the best one. But yeah, give it a gander and let me know what you think, especially for the people in my group. Let's talk about it. And remember, this week coming up, this Wednesday, I have a video with Cameron Best. We're going to be talking about miserable bitches. Not bitches as far as, context is like women, stuff like that. Not like that, but just miserable people in general. Cause dudes can be bitches too. So we're gonna be talking about that. So stay tuned for that. And I'm about to jump off of here, y'all. About to go eat some steaks and shit. But I'll get with y'all later. All right? All right, I'm out of here. Peace.